Now I see her.
All right. All right. I think we're live. Let me just triple check. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
live. Okay, good. All right, so we got a lead on screen. All right. What's up, guys? Gilly writes comics and stuff. Your boy here with Nelly, and we're gonna do a little screen talk about Alita Battle Angel. If you guys haven't heard of this movie, definitely check it out. I was a little late to the parade. It debuted February 14th, but I caught wind of it a little bit later on. It's definitely sci-fi based on an anime, and
Oh yeah.
oh, is that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, based on an anime. I'm not familiar with the manga, 100%. So forgive me on that. But from what I understand and the research I've done, it seems to be, pretty close to the manga in some aspects, some slight variations here and there, but it pretty much a good, you know, rendition. But anyway, Nelly, I'll start with you. What were your thoughts about Alita Battle Angel? What were you expecting going into this movie? And your thoughts overall, and we'll just crisscross back and forth.
So honestly, I was surprised at hell.
Hmm.
Um, I just saw the trailer. I can't even. It was on YouTube probably.
Hmm.
And when I saw the trailer, I mean, the weird look that she had kind of caught my
Hmm.
attention.
Hmm.
The trailer was very epic and
Hmm.
intense, which also caught my attention. And the moment
Hmm.
that I saw freaking James Cameron on it, at
Hmm.
that moment, I was like, I have to see this.
Hmm.
I have to see this. And I guess I was surprised that it was going to be in like such a slow time for Hollywood. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
honestly, February is not
Hmm.
your prime time for Hollywood, but I guess they were
Hmm.
worried about it. It was still a big budget film.
Hmm. For sure.
And let me tell you, I thought it was James Cameron all around. I found out afterwards that James Cameron is just
Hmm.
the screenplay writer and the producer. I
Hmm.
mean,
The
he
producer.
did bounce off a lot of ideas with the director Robert Rodriguez,
Hmm.
and I even got to see a trailer with them going back and forth and just sharing their thoughts on it. And
Hmm.
it was a heavy collaboration.
Hmm.
I also found out that it was James Cameron who had the idea originally,
Hmm.
and he went to Fox and they bought the rights back in the 90s. They've been
Hmm.
thinking about doing this movie since back in the 90s, and they just postponed it because they were
Mhm.
waiting for the better technology to be able to do the movie justice. It's
Sheesh.
that level of dedication and craft that's
Yeah.
just like holy smokes. And honestly, it kind of breaks my heart that I mean, overall, the movie's been getting like 7 out of 10 reviews,
Mhm.
and in the box office, the opening week, it did not do great. I saw it on the
Mhm.
opening week at the IMAX. I mean, granted, it was a Wednesday, but there
Mhm.
was only 3 people on that theater, and it's just like it was a movie of such epic proportions. I recommend everybody to watch it. It was
Mhm.
an incredible movie, and I do hope they do more. I know that the box office now is finally a profitable movie. It's caught up and
Mhm.
people are catching on to it, but it's
Yeah,
it's
it
been
seems like
slow
social
to
media
execution.
kind of also helps spread some of the word because for some reason, the publicity behind it. I mean, you can do trailers here and there, but I mean, it's not like a major driving force to bring awareness, I guess. I mean, all you got was a trailer, and if it did you justice, it did. But like, if you dig a little deeper, you find out, okay, James Cameron's connected to it. Robert Rodriguez is directing it. I mean, I didn't even know he directed it until after I saw the movie, and I'm like, "What? He directed it?" I mean, I didn't do my research before going in. I knew James Cameron was attached to it. I knew little bits and pieces here, like the bare minimal. But once I got in, and then after digesting it and seeing, wow, Robert Rodriguez was directing this. This was, like you said, a heavy, heavy collaboration.
Yeah.
So it's sad it didn't get the traction initially, but it seems that with word of mouth and social media, it's been getting there now, respectively. So obviously, like you said, they have a sequel in the works. It was based on an anime, like you said, it's been bought. The rights been bought out in the '90s, and the fact that Cameron was just patient enough and just waiting, bouncing around. At the same time, he was doing Avatar. He has a sequel plan for Avatar, and it seems like he didn't want to keep this waiting anymore, and the time was right now. So Robert Rodriguez, pretty much took the task and said, "Hey, I'm willing to bring this to life." And they crossed, visions and bounced off ideas, and it just got James Cameron's blessing, and it got to the piece that we're seeing right now. Oh, and that's out in theaters. It's a heck of a sci-fi cinema for sure. There's a
Oh yeah,
lot going on with this movie. So I'll let you break it down. And then we can go into, my thoughts, your thoughts, plot,
yeah.
what we thought overall, but
From
just
the very
let me know.
beginning,
Yeah.
from the very beginning, the movie was well done. I
Mhm.
mean, he Robert Rodriguez took his time, paced it properly, in my opinion. Like
Mhm.
showed the intro, finding the head,
Mhm.
putting it together. The whole discovery piece at the beginning was
Mhm.
it was good. It was entertaining. It was engaging. It starts developing her as a character. The whole little
Mhm.
fruit scene. Trying to figure
Mhm.
out who she was. She can't
Mhm.
remember, and organically as it keeps going, even the whole falling in love. I'm not the whole lovey-dovey, fluffy type thing, but the whole love sequence between her and
Mhm.
I keep forgetting what the kid's name is, but
Hugo.
Hugo. I
Yeah.
think it's Kian Johnson.
Mhm.
I mean, the guy is handsome, and the dynamic and how they brought it
Oh,
together.
Nelly, really?
Yeah,
The guy's
but
handsome.
the dynamic
Yeah.
and how they brought it together. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like it was well done. You know,
Mhm.
so the movie had great pacing. For one,
Mhm.
I love the whole justice aspect of it. I
Mhm.
love the gritty world. Let me tell you, the world
Mhm.
that they created, the vision, the visual effects, the
Mhm.
the environment, like it was really an immersive world that was
Mhm.
incredibly well done. And
Mhm.
I do hope that for the Oscars they get recognition on visual effects and on that because
By far, they
that
should.
was just
Yeah.
insane.
The CGI, I think, is the best CGI I've seen in a long, long time. I mean, it's fully immersive, as you say. That's world building at its finest. Just, it's believable. And you feel like, okay, this is a world where it's 2300. There's been this war, that just happened, and it's crazy to just think about the magnitude of trying to fit all this into a movie and make it believable, right? But the technology's there now, so that's a good thing. So it
Yeah,
definitely has that going for it.
yeah. And then with the star-studded
Hmm.
cast, I mean, I had never heard of Rosa Salazar, who is Alita.
You said
And
star-studded, but where's the stars at? But I get you. Alita's a star, right? Rosa Salazar, like you said, she was at The Voice. I don't know if they used any of her semblance for
no, so
Alita because
they
Alita's
used her
more
semblance,
anime-ish, right?
and even to do the movie, they had the whole green screen, and
Hmm.
she did
The
all the scenes.
actions, that's badass.
Yes.
Okay, no doubt.
So the
Props.
semblance is hers, and not only is the semblance hers, but
Mhm.
Rodriguez wanted to make it like in honor of the fact that it's an
The
anime or
anime, I
manga.
appreciate that, right? That they made the
He
eyes a little
wanted to
bit
make
bigger
her
like that.
eyes bigger, and
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why they chose Rosa Salazar. A,
Mhm.
she's a great actress,
Mhm.
but B, she already naturally has like bigger eyes, so she just like fits that persona better.
There's Rosa
Um,
Salazar, yeah.
yeah. So then the way that they did her, how she did her
Mhm,
scenes, her
yeah, I could
acting, her
see that, yeah.
voice acting, and
Mhm.
everything, it was incredibly well done. And then freaking Dr. Dyson Ido,
Mhm.
which is Christopher Waltz,
Mhm.
that guy is the guy that you just recognize him immediately. And then the way that he talks is just so freaking
Mhm.
engaging. It's just it's impossible to not like him. So you're
He's
already
an interesting
interested in
character.
his explanations and
Yeah.
the way that he talks,
Mhm.
and the movie just takes off from there. And I don't know about you,
Mhm.
but maybe it's a childish crush, or maybe
Mhm.
it's just that respect of
Your crush on
intellectuals and
Hugo?
whatnot. No, my crush is on
Oh.
Jennifer Connelly. For me, Jennifer
Ah,
Connelly
the
is one of the
doctor,
greats
yeah.
in Hollywood.
Yeah.
She's done so many different type of roles, and in
Mhm.
this one, another great job. Another
Yeah, she
great
did
job.
great, I'll give her that. She was like the cold, doctor, but then at the same time, you saw a part of
She
her
was
in
a
the end.
mother. Yeah,
Where she shows like, okay, like, that side where she's warming up to the idea of, Alita and her struggle and, wanting to keep Hugo alive at that fatal that crucial part of the movie. So we saw some substance on her part. I get it. We saw some layers.
yeah.
Um I think Dyson was an interesting character. Part of me, because again, I wasn't too familiar with the manga, but I didn't realize he was also a bounty hunter. I thought that was just insane.
Yeah.
That was just incredible. Like that was just so freaking cool.
Yeah, to pay
So
the
he
bills.
Yeah, so he's like this surgeon slash bounty hunter. I like how the world is like crime is crime, whatever, but they hire these people to just take out bad people, I guess. So it's a seedy underworld type,
Yeah,
uh place that we're dealing with. There's like underbelly of where corruption is and thing thrives, but even then you got bounty hunters that kind of keep things in check. So it's interesting. Vector, the dude who played Vector, I can't remember his name right now. He's a great actor. He's also in House of Cards. He's in was it True Detective?
Mahershala Ali. I think I'm
Yeah,
butchering that.
yeah. Let me see if I could say a better pronunciation. Mahershala Ali. Yeah, he's excellent. This dude's amazing. He's
Yeah.
an amazing actor. Him as Vector, I think was cool. But Vector, I can't remember. He was being controlled by, was it Nova? Like this main,
Yes.
and that I think was interesting. So, we're bouncing back and forth, but of course, if you guys seen the movie, kind of know what we're talking about. But there's a lot going on with this movie. So let's take it back to the beginning and how Dyson discovers this part of this robot, right? Just the head, right? Was it the
Yeah.
head? And then
He
and
just
then
finds the head in the junk,
oh,
and
and the thing about the head that made it interesting is that he was able to determine the brain was still alive.
it was still
Right?
intact.
It's still
Exactly.
intact, right? So this whole notion where it's a futuristic movie, and I know Alita is not a real human being. We understand that, but her semblance, right, is that of a female, right? I mean, we can say that she's a female. I mean, she's not a real female, but her brain identifies as a female, right? There was an attraction to Hugo initially, right? So
Yeah.
we're seeing the curiosity and tasting foods in the beginning with the oranges, right? We're understanding that even though it's a cyborg, there's a big, major human connection here with just tasting foods, right? With how they interpret the world, how they visualize the world, how they see things. And the fact that she kind of like is figuring out she's a battle like this like she has something to do with combat, like in that beginning when they're in that like marketplace and like this Ed
Yeah.
209 type RoboCop monster comes out and she just like gets into like a battle position. It's like, okay, she's unearthing, like her true, identity. This hasn't been done before in movies. It's not like this hasn't been done. We've seen this before. Like Born Identity's one, like, hey, he doesn't have memory. Who am I? With this whole who am I thing, like we've been there, done that. We've seen that. But
Yeah. The
Alita makes it
pacing.
a yeah, talk about that.
Well, but adding to what you're saying, the pacing was
Hmm.
done so well.
Hmm.
How she just ramps up, and then the action sequence,
Hmm.
the all the sequences were just filmed so fluently. It was all well done.
Hmm.
Even to the point where anime is really exaggerated.
Hmm.
And there's certain things that you can do with drawings or with computer graphics. And I guess in this case, it's
Hmm.
also computer graphics. But
Hmm.
this really did a big jump in connecting that level type of action
Hmm.
with that speed in,
Hmm.
in a more realistic CG sequence
Hmm.
with even some people involved. But like it was just for a movie, it just really closed that gap.
Hmm.
And the action sequences were just incredible.
Yeah, especially the rollerball sequences. I like this, like rollerball's a thing. It's an escape. That's where people go to vent. People go to just cheer something on, get out of the real world. They just cheer these gladiators destroying each other in this, roller derby combat. So this rollerball, I think, was awesome. Those scenes were frenetic, high paced, and it was great, right? It was well done, right? The plot, we're seeing more of Alita and how she has this attraction to Hugo. She wants to help Hugo out, and then we eventually learn that Hugo has a little dark secret and that he what is he strips down these cyborgs for parts or something, right? And sells them on
Mhm.
the black market. He has a connection with Vector, and his whole thing is he's trying to get up to this upper city, right? I forgot what the name of that upper city was called, but it's like a second class, right? You have like the high classes up in this top, right? And then you
Exactly.
got
The
like the
better
lower
looking.
class. Yeah, so we got the caste system in there. We understand the discrimination, poor, rich, and so we got the polarizing effect there with the class system. We understanding this is a world here with a lot going on.
Yeah.
Um,
And a history.
a big history because when we uncover more about Alita figures out, right, that she's this, one of a kind. Was it Panzerfaust that she knows this type of art that's just lethal and deadly, and she's learning more about what she can do, but then at the same time, this is where my problem was with the movie. Again, like I said, it's a great movie. I mean, I won't go all out and give it a 10 out of 10 because it did have its flaws. I'll
Yeah,
give it a 10 out of 10 visually, of course. It was a visual feast. It was like a sumptuous buffet for the eyes. You got so much to digest there. But there was a problem with me with the plot. Like, one thing I didn't like. I mean, I know she's strong. I know she's learning more herself. But what was the name of that the big robot guy, where he wanted like an upgrade, and Vector kind of got one of the roller derby contestants that had this like big arm with hooks, right, or claws or whatnot, and they stripped him down and they attached his arm to the big monsters, the big like robot. I forgot his name, but he encounters her in the alley, with what's his name, Dr. Ito, right? When
yeah,
that first initial encounter, and she got like, that was her discovering her abilities, and she pretty much laid it on him. So
yeah.
for me, I felt like she was never fully in danger.
Okay.
Granted, I like the scene where the dude had the upgrade and they fought and he literally left her neutralized, I guess. So there was that. Like, he did have her beat. So I
He
guess,
he
there
he
was that.
he had her done, but the part that I liked about that is that even though he had her done
Uh,
and all she had left, she
yes.
literally just gave her all, and even at the very end, she wasn't giving up.
Yeah, that definitely shows a lot about her character, that she didn't
And
give up, the ferocity and all that. Yeah.
yeah, and that's something that I wish they would have dived more. Maybe they're saving it for a sequel or something.
Hmm.
But the movie had a lot going plot wise. With the history, they
Hmm.
have to give a little bit of the history for you to understand the origin of this and the surprising
For
truth about
sure.
the
Yeah.
true villain.
Hmm.
Then you have her discovering her body, trying to remember who she is. Then
Hmm.
you have the love story going on as well.
Hmm.
But one thing that I really liked was when
Hmm.
she got into that bar and she does that
Oh,
speech
that was so cool. Yeah.
trying to recruit everybody. That speech about justice,
Mm.
that for me, that I just wish there was more about that. And I know that there's more coming towards it. I know that there's a history there where there was a lot of injustice. That the
Mhm.
war, I mean, the bad guy won the war 300
Mhm.
years ago. So there's more to come down that way.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It just gave me this such excitement when I saw that
Mhm.
scene, such like fire and passion, and I
Yeah,
wanted
man.
more of that. And then the movie kind of like it still did its thing. It still was
Yeah.
great, but it kind of shied away from that and it focused on other things. To then at the very end, kind of come back a little bit to it.
It's like, it's just the way, like you said, the pacing, the way the movie was done, like, that part was you can say was an epic part, because she has this power anthem about, we gotta fight back, we gotta do this, and then, I think can't remember the dude's name, but, the dude that had that sword, the Damascus sword, that she's like, "You're not worth this sword." But he's like, he laughs it off, like, and it's not only until she busts his ass, until she starts getting everyone's respect. And that's when the big monsters, was it the robo guy, came in, and can't remember his name, but he battles her, and he kind of like, they had that little battle. But so there's a lot of build up there.
Sapan, like Zapan.
Zapan, there you go,
Yeah,
Zapan.
Zapan.
Yeah.
He's the one that has the sword.
Yeah, so she, like, eventually she gets his sword. That was all cool. But I'm like, okay, like, she survived the monster at the end. Not the What the heck is his name? I'm gonna Google this dude's name because it's just killing me. Do you remember his name? Not Zapan.
I
Amok?
the- you-
Was it
I know
Amok?
that you're talking about the big robot guy. I just can't
Amok. Was
remember
it
his name
Amok?
either.
Was it Casper Van Diem? No, I can't remember his name. But this, we'll just big man. We'll call him Big Man. He gets a second chance, right? I love how he like literally ripped her body to shreds, and that was a perfect setup. Why? For her new body, right? Now we get where we're coming, the foreshadowing, right? Like, where he found her new body, right? When she discovered it, she found, like, this is your new body. We can't give you this new body because then you'll become this other person, or you're gonna look to combat, whatever. And then, of course, we have the perfect setup for her to get into her new body. That's what it was. So once Ito finally puts her in this new body, that's when it's just like, okay, upgrade 2.0. And it's just like, is she really going to be stopped? Like, that's what my issue was. Like, it's like, you want to feel like there's an enemy there that's kind of kind of challenge her in a way. You want to feel like there's something for her to lose. Yeah, granted, Hugo was one person to lose, and how that all happened. I like the idea how her heart, she had a heart. I like that how she was able to, keep Hugo alive. He became a cyborg like her in a way. I kind of didn't like how they killed Hugo off so quick. It's almost like his whole thing was to get to the top,
Yeah,
and
okay,
he's
so
yeah.
I okay, so I kind of agree with you, but at the same time, that's what she needed to go full head
Mhm,
on into like her mission. Because
mhm,
in the end, Hugo was what got her to where she was, but
mhm,
he was gonna be. I mean, if the whole love story thing kept going, I feel like it was gonna be more of a distraction.
mhm,
You understand? And they kind of needed that to happen for her to be like head on, like Nova, like you're gonna pay. You know what I mean? And by the
mhm.
way, the big robot guy, I think his name is Gruishka.
Gruishka.
Jackie Earl Haley was the guy
Oh, is
that
that
played
was
him.
his name? Gruishka?
Gruishka.
Oh, yeah, here we go, Gruishka. Okay, I didn't recognize it. He looks nothing like how he looked in the armor. In this picture. Alright, Gruishka. So Gru. Yeah, so Gruishka, okay. Yeah, so, okay, Hugo bites a bullet, right? Just the way just how it happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, it felt too rushed. I mean, I know that you like the pacing, but it's like one moment this, one moment that, and then boom, he's already walking his way halfway up to that city, and it's just like and that part felt a little bit rushed, and then you
That part
can't do
was. I mean,
that. It's like, "Oh," and then all of a sudden he's like, "Okay, I'll go back down with you." And then all of a sudden I
yeah.
got the big buzz saws coming through that thing. He gets like knocked out. It's just like, like it. I get like you got to end the movie. I get it's just there was a disconnect there a little bit for me. Again,
Well,
I
here's the
loved
thing.
everything. Doesn't mean nitpicking.
Here's the thing, though. The movie didn't end right there. Remember? She went back to Rollerball
No, no,
and
yes,
she
mhm.
became a star.
Right, 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 right. And
So
of course,
that for me that's the indication like there's got to be a sequel, and I do hope that
no,
there's a
no, of
sequel.
course, because we saw the reveal of Ed Norton. I mean, who cares that it's Ed Norton? It was cool that it's this guy that could kind of jump into cyborgs and control them, or not even
And that
that,
he's
people, right?
300 years old as
That yeah,
well.
exactly. So there's a lot going on with that. With Nova, like I said, there's a history there. He's definitely overpowered, but he seems kind of too powerful. Yeah, I don't know. Like there's a good way. There's a balance. You gotta fine tune this. You gotta play with this in a good way. And I believe that sequel is coming, and I'm sure they can narrow it down. So again, these gripes that I have, they're minor. Overall, I thought the movie was an 8 out of 10. The visual effects were nothing short of extraordinary. Um, but plot wise, it was great. It has, there was some minor gripes here and there, some
Yeah.
cliche ridden stuff here and there. It happens, you're not gonna, it happens with the territory. But I felt it was fresh enough. In sci-fi, I definitely felt it was something that was new. But
Yep.
I'm kind of
And,
curious to see where they take this.
and let me tell you, the movie was quite long,
Mhm.
and even though it was long, it flowed so well. Like
No,
I,
it
I
did,
didn't
it
I
did,
didn't
it
feel the
did.
time go by at all, you know?
Mhm. I'll agree on that. The pacing was good, just at the end for me, it felt a little bit too rushed, but again, the pacing was good. And let's talk about Alita. Is she a woman?
So it's
What would you call what would you call? Because I don't know if you heard of Captain Marvel. There's a thing with Captain Marvel going on. And there's this big, I mean, as far as Marvel Comics, Disney, there's this big feminist agenda tied to Captain Marvel. Oh, woman, we can do it, we can do it. So I'm not knocking that at all. But it seems to be something heavily towards a feminist movement type of deal where this Captain Marvel superhero is the one that saves the Marvel universe, from Thanos. I don't mind that it's a woman, but apparently like they gave her like every cool power in the book and she got it. So there's like and then even Brie Larson, the actor in Captain Marvel, has been, she's been connected to saying like the movie's not aimed towards men, something along or aimed towards white males. Is this controversial? You Google something up,
yeah.
you'll see what's going on. They lost money, according to her, what she said, whatever. My whole point is that this movie comes out this Friday, Captain Marvel, and it's like, oh, the woman for this age, or the superhero for today's world, yada yada yada, the heroine for today. But then you look at someone like Alita, and I heard the case. Well, Alita's a heroine, right? Isn't she?
So
Right? Isn't
I
she a
guess
powerful female figure? Like, I mean, could
yeah,
that even make a is that an argument we can make here? Because
for,
because
for
of the
me, she
sci-fi,
is
she's a
a powerful
cyborg or
female
not? What?
figure.
Yeah.
But that's no thing. I mean, I could care less about this whole man woman thing that's been going on. I
Mhm,
feel like people are always gonna complain.
mhm,
Either the women are not being respected enough, and then they're gonna get too much power, and then the men are gonna be neglected, and it feels like it's gonna be a never-ending fight. So for me, I'll
mhm,
just take it story-wise as what it is, and she is a powerful female figure.
mhm,
I like the story how you know the body, the first body was
mhm,
more girlish, and then the new body,
mhm,
conformed more to the image that she had in her mind. I
mhm.
found that
That
joke
was
funny,
in
and
it,
at the
yeah.
same time, it showed a development in her that made
Mhm,
her, it made her stand out a little bit more, gave her a little bit more posture.
mhm,
So the question on a powerful female figure, yeah, for me, definitely does look like a powerful female
mhm.
figure.
So my question, with all that being said, powerful female figure, isn't it curious, like, why wasn't this movie promoted enough? I don't know, does that come into your mind?
It's not Marvel. There's just things that fall
It's
cliche-ish. I mean, it sounds
Cameron.
terrible, but it's the truth.
It's
There,
James Cameron.
yeah, I know, and that's
If
the
you look at
sad part.
here's
I
another thing
mean,
too. There's an
when
issue too. Here, hold on, there's real quick. There's an issue too with diversity, right? In
yeah,
comics, hey, where there's not enough representation, yada yada. I know you don't. You're not up to date with a lot of the Marvel comics, right? But what Marvel's been doing, they've been regurgitating, you know, new superheroes, right? That are the same superheroes, but with different ethnicities, right? So Iron Man, right? Like in the comics, you have a young black female teenager that's an Iron Man. For Incredible Hulk, there's like the Amazing or the Awesome Hulk, and it's an Asian character. The female Thor, right? So you know when you do that, it's almost like you have these iconic characters that are storied, they're valued, they're already cemented, and then you're basically selling out your own fan base by creating making the same character with a different skin coating like
yeah,
that. It's not organic. I mean, I feel like as Marvel, you have clout. You're a brand. If you make a new superhero right now, we're gonna want to know who the superhero is. You get it? But what they're doing is they're playing into the propaganda. You know, if
yeah,
this, oh well, if the comics don't do good, well, it's because diversity's not. Well, it's the diversity that's killing comics. No, it's your lack of ingenuity. It's your lack of creativity as a brand. You feel me?
yeah, for
So
sure.
with Alita, we see a fresh story, right? This is what we
Mm,
like, organic narratives, right? That can bring out a powerful female figure without forcing a feminist agenda down your throat. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
That's the problem with Marvel big time,
a
right?
Japanese story with a Latin star.
Well, here's the thing. That's what I'm saying about the diversity here. The diversity here, it's it's like we see that. Maybe we know that they're Latin because we're Latin Americans and we might just go further into that. Robert Rodriguez, with his casting, but it's robust. It's not um done in a way that's like tokenism. It's like it's natural, right? And it's representation, right? And it works because you're not spoon feeding that in your movie. It's there, it might be cosmetic, but for some little girl might see this Alita and be like, wow, she can be a powerful, even if she's in a suit, I can be that person. You get what I'm saying? It
Yeah,
it works. There's a connectivity, there's a relativity there. We feel connected, right? I can be that, right? So my whole thing is that there's an issue with this in comics, and we're seeing this now, and sometimes in movies, at least with Captain Marvel. And I didn't want to see the movie Captain Marvel because of this whole feminist agenda crap and everything behind it. But I think I want to see it because I want to analyze it on its own, even though I kind of know there's a feminist agenda being pushed in there, and
yeah.
just see if maybe you knowing that you don't wanna see a movie that's forced, that you want it naturally done. I wanna kinda see, what your thoughts on this would on that would be, just because you see a
Well,
movie like Alita and it's a powerful, figure, and it's not, no type of propaganda, no forced feminist agenda, but we got
yeah.
a woman who, we can't say it's a woman, let's say a cyborg that relates as a woman. It feels like it's a woman, for goodness sake, right?
Well, for me, Alita
Uh
was a special event. I'm not gonna lie to you.
mhm,
I can't afford to go to so many movies. I'm a
mhm,
family man. There's so many
mhm,
other bills to pay.
mhm,
So me going to watch Alita at the movies was something.
mhm,
Captain Marvel and all these Marvel movies,
mhm,
honestly, I mean, I even enjoy many of them.
mhm,
I know that they're perfectly fine. I'll just wait for them for when they come out on Netflix. I'm not
mhm.
a the social media guy that I won't get spoiled.
Right.
With Alita,
Yeah.
the part I guess that concerned me and bothered me because it was such a well done movie.
Mm,
The budget was 200 million for this movie, and
mm,
in the opening week they had barely gone over 50 million, and that was my concern. Like now they're past, they're like 260 something million,
mm,
so I know that they turned a profit and they're good, but
mm.
that's the thing. Like this was like a heavyweight movie that had so many years in the making, and they did so much with this, and just people didn't even know about it. People didn't invest in it, and then any kind of Marvel movie to come out, everybody's jumping the gun on it, and everybody's watching it. And I
Mhm.
mean, don't get me wrong, they've been doing great movies, but it's just like, I
Well,
mean,
that's the issue. They were doing great, and no knocking that because they found a formula that works and it's working. So the issue that you're saying, and you kind of like it bothers you that this movie seemed really good, it's not getting the shine that it should be getting, or it's eventually getting it through word of mouth or whatnot. If you
little by
go,
little,
if
it's
you go
getting
on social media, there's been a lot of people saying, "Hey, how come Alita Battle Angel ain't getting any kind of love?" You get what I'm saying? And all this hype is for Captain Marvel, Captain Marvel, Captain Marvel as this new woman of the, that this powerful woman, but like, yo, you got Alita came out first, but it's also celebrates diversity, it celebrates women if you want to look at it that because the main character is Alita, that's a female name, right? She identifies herself as a female. So if in this world, if you identify yourself as a cracker, you're a cracker. If you identify yourself as a freaking the heel of a shoe, you're a heel of a shoe. If you identify yourself as a clown, you're a clown. If you identify yourself as a duck, you're a duck, right? You might look a certain way, but I feel this way. We'll celebrate what you feel, gender equality, this and that, right? So if Alita could feel like a woman and she acts a powerful way, and you can see that she has that, why aren't we celebrating that or saying, hey, we got a powerful, feminine figure in this movie that's a problem. The marketing wasn't there as it should have been. But then you got someone like Captain Marvel. Now, like I said, I don't know much about Captain Marvel as far as the comic books, right? I'm still learning. But
yeah,
from what I understand from the diehard fans, right, they're saying that it's a movement there that they're making Captain Marvel as the savior almost from the universe because she's going to be the one to like knock Thanos out. And it's almost like unequivocally, she's like untouchable. So this is
yeah,
this whole movement. And if you're familiar with the actress Brie Larson, she's also kind of like with this feminist agenda, like, oh, women, you can't hold us down. What I don't know if it is a newsflash to anyone in this world. There's a lot of powerful women out there, and they're celebrated. But I don't think we need to make this agenda like you know what I'm saying? Like if you think about that
yeah.
Gillette commercial, right? And you think about what the hell was up with that? I'm just saying, like
So,
this is the mainstream media, the pop culture, how it kind of wants to shift something. You get what I'm saying? And
yeah.
and we see it in movies, so that's a complaint with Marvel, Miss Marvel. Hey,
I
we're
don't
getting all
know.
this, but
I don't know the story of Miss Marvel per
mm,
se, like the Miss Marvel comic book,
mm,
but I'm an X-Men fan, and for me, it's always been that Rogue got her powers because she just held on too long to Miss Marvel.
mm,
So for me, Marvel was supposed to be a vegetable in a hospital that can't wake up,
mm.
and Rogue took all the powers. That's the Miss Marvel for me. I
Well,
have
here,
no
uh,
I have no idea what they're gonna do, but
mm,
I'm not gonna watch it in the movie theaters. I'm gonna wait
mm,
for it to hit Netflix or, once it comes
yeah.
in an easier, free to way watch or somewhat.
Mm.
That's when I'll watch it. I'll catch up with it eventually.
Well, check out this. This is a Captain Marvel, right? That the I want to say the first Captain Marvel, I guess. Um, her name's Monica Rambeau. Okay, and she debuted. I think it was the early '80s. She debuted, and when I was on, here we go. This is the one right here. When I was on social media and I was asking, hey, I want to get into Captain Marvel. I want to hear what's up. Just direct me to a Captain Marvel book. One person on Twitter said, check Monica Rambeau. She came out before Carol Danvers. And if you see Carol Danvers, white, blonde haired, blue eyed, beautiful Captain Marvel, right? But then we have this earlier rendition of Captain Marvel, right? We see powerful black woman, right? We see the
Yeah,
fro, right? We see a powerful black woman, right, as a superhero, right? This was in the freaking, I want to say maybe late '80s, early '90s, right?
yeah,
What better way if Marvel really is about diversity, right? Really is about celebrate. Hey, you know what? It's diversity now. Hey, we need equal representation. Well, hey, what better way than this version of Captain Marvel to be the one that saves the universe? You get what I'm saying? and she
Yeah.
was she was first, aside from Carol Danvers, the one that we're gonna see in theaters. So my whole thing is, this is an issue with me because Marvel's like, "Hey, well, we celebrate diversity, hey, this and that. Hey, we want representation." But you do it in a way that's filled with propaganda, right? You're not giving the characters their due diligence. But you have a perfect example here to really back what you're saying and put the money where your mouth is and feature a perfect character right now in this day and age, in this era, that could have been a black Miss Marvel saving the universe. You get what I'm saying? It's almost like it's so intricate in the hypocrisy. I don't know if it makes sense, but this is the kind of thing that bothers me with the powers that be, because you're hailing something, you want something, and then you have a perfect opportunity on a platform, a silver platter, to really be what you're saying, and yet we get the same old stuff. That's my issue, dude. Yeah, that's for that reason. I think I might have to treat you to see Captain Marvel just to get an opinion,
Well,
to see
it's
if there
funny that
really is a feminist agenda type deal. I
well,
don't know.
let me tell you, you said the name
Mm,
Carol Danvers, right?
mm,
So you immediately jumpstart my brain because that's
mm,
exactly what I told you about the story of X-Men and Rogue and holding
mm,
on too long.
mhm,
And sure enough, I just went and I Googled it real quick, and it's Carol Danvers that Rogue holds on for too long,
mhm.
takes all her powers, and leaves her as a vegetable.
Well, before there was Carol Danvers as a vegetable, there was Monica Rambeau, police police detective, powerful black woman as Captain Marvel, led the Avengers at one point. I don't see why she couldn't be the Captain Marvel to lead the universe and save Thanos. Like, it's almost saying, "Hey, we could have a woman save the universe, but it can't be a black woman save the universe." You get what I'm saying? If that's
Yeah,
controversial enough, take that for what you want. But put things as how I see them. We all see things differently. This is how I see it. Especially when Marvel wants us, celebrate equal representation and all that, but it's done in a gimmicked way. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
LGBT, right? We're all for gay rights and everything, right? Did you know Iceman came out of the closet?
Oh God.
Did you know that? Like, he's gay now, I think. So it's like, was Iceman always gay, or this version of Iceman's gay? There's too much to keep up with. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's annoying.
It gets silly, but it's not. Make a new gay character. You're Marvel Comics. Can't you make a brand new gay character and have that be? Think about it and make it work. Why you have to
Yeah,
make the Iceman gay? Why you get what I'm saying? Be creative. That's all I'm asking for. It's all I want is creativity. You know what I mean? And then I feel like the fans suffer through this.
well,
It is what it is.
all I could tell you is if you haven't seen Alita Battle Angel, definitely go see it. It is worth the watch.
No, for sure. They'll make their money on Blu-ray sales too. I think that's a keeper in a collection. It's amazing. You can watch it again.
Yeah,
It's beautiful,
I
amazingly
do hope
well
that
done
there's a
story.
sequel coming.
No, there definitely is. We're gonna see Nova. We're gonna feel what he can do. We're gonna get into the nitty gritty of it all. And this is definitely a universe that could keep on going. Don't want to see anything milked beyond its expiration date. But I definitely could see a trilogy with Alita. And there's a lot to be left in the tank for Alita Battle Angel. So Nelly, I think we'll wrap it there. It's been a great talk. Let's see when we'll do our next live stream on whatever topic of conversation, game, culture, movies, comics, you name it. We can make it happen. Any last thoughts?
Thank you for having me over, and no, let's keep going at it.
All right,
Changing the world
guys.
one video at a time.
There you go, guys. Let us know what you think. Comment, like, and subscribe. Let us know what you think about Alita Battle Angel. Is she a powerful feminine hero? Let us know what you think about Captain Marvel. Um, will you see that? Or who's more powerful, Alita or Captain Marvel, right? Anyway, guys, this has been Gilly and Nelly talking about Alita, and we'll catch you on the flip side next time. Later, later, later.